All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we have a legendary female hip hop artist right here on the line. We got Paula Perry of Masta Incorporated. How you doing this evening?
I'm fine. What's up? What's up, everybody?
I first and foremost have to say thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time this evening. You know, I grew up on your music. You're most definitely in my top 5 favorite female MCs of all time. So thank you so much for just giving us some of your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
And I have to ask you, Paul, like taking you like way back to the beginning of your career, like what actually made you decide to get into the music industry initially?
Well, basically I was a big fan of hip hop since I can remember. And I remember hearing Sweet Tea. I remember seeing Masta Ace and them on videos. And, you know, I remember just being a big fan of it all. So once I met a couple of people that were in the industry that knew certain people, that gave me the opportunity to meet them. Once they heard me, because I've been writing since I was about 12, so once they heard me speak, right then and there, it was a guaranteed connect right away.
And also, as well, Paula, you were actually discovered by the rapper by the name of Unique, who actually introduced you to Masta Ace. I have to ask you, how did yourself and Unique get connected? And of course, what was it like meeting Masta for the first time?
Well, I met Unique through a cousin of mine, Pop. He introduced me. Once I met them, they brought me in front of Masta Ace. And once Ace heard me, he was like blown away. So he put me in the studio probably like 2 weeks after we met.
That's actually really cool. You know what I mean? It must have been like such a surreal moment for you just to be able to be in the studio at so early on in your career with someone like Masta Ace.
It was a dream come true because I was like one of his biggest fans, you know? Still is. He's one of the illest in the world, you know. I gotta give him his credit.
And I have to say as well, he is very, very underrated, which is unfortunate as well. Like I actually had the opportunity to interview him, and he is probably one of the most nicest MCs I've probably ever interviewed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And also,
that goes to show. I mean, that goes to say for all of us. I mean, we all underrated, pretty much.
And also, you were a member of Masta Ace Incorporated, of course, and I have to ask you, tell us the story behind the formation of that phenomenal group. And of course, how did you meet the other members?
Well, I knew Digger first. I knew him before Masta Ace, matter of fact. Lachey came after. Itchy was the DJ. Mr. C was the road manager. So all of us just came together and made the group. Masta Ace Incorporated. We went on tour, and you know, it was history from there.
And I have to ask you as well, like, do you think down the line, like, Masta Ace Incorporated might get back together for like a reunion tour, maybe like a reunion record, or anything along those lines?
I don't think so. I mean, if me and Noah Digger want to do it, then, you know, I guess we'll do it, but I don't think Masta Ace would be willing to do that.
And I have to say as well, like, Lord Digga's another phenomenal artist as well. I remember him from his production work from Biggie Smalls' Ready to Die.
Yeah. And when I first met Biggie, he kept going, Diggy ain't tell you about the crush? I'm like, no. That's when Digger was working on Biggie's album. And, yeah, we was on the road, and I remember seeing Biggie a couple of times out in New Mexico and out in L.A. a couple of times when we was on the road. Yeah. But Digger, he's just dope all the way around. He has phenomenal history.
And I have to ask you as well pertaining to Biggie Smalls, because you know a lot of individuals, especially the media, they betray Biggie in such a bad way. Since you were sitting in a room with Biggie with no cameras and whatnot, what was he like as an actual human being?
Quiet, humble, funny, you know, laughing at my jokes. You know, just a sweet guy, sweetheart. I never seen nothing bad in him.
And also, as well, you were signed to X-Ray Records. If you don't mind me asking, how did that record deal come to be for you? And of course, what was it like being signed under X-Ray?
Well, Dennis Mathis had brought me to X-Ray a couple of years ago. And, it was good. I'm now signed to Cleopatra and Famous Records. So, we'll see. I don't have no comment on that.
And also, your single as well, Extra Extra, was actually produced by the legendary DJ Premier. I have to ask you, what is the inspiration behind that phenomenal single? And of course, what was it like actually working with DJ Premier?
Premier's like family. Me and Premier go back like 30 years. That track, Street, Dope, just took me straight to the project. The video was exciting. It was fun. And it just felt real. It felt home, Felt like hip-hop. Dope.
And I gotta say, DJ Premier is probably one of the biggest and most popular DJs of all time. Was that the only time you had the opportunity to work with DJ Premier, or did you do other tracks with him as well?
Well, like I said, I know him for a long time. We probably did tracks. I probably did something with other people that he produced, before my track. So, yeah, it was so long ago. I'm trying to think back. But
yeah, I have a knack for asking questions like that. I gotta say my apologies. I have had that before where some people are like, "Oh my goodness, you're taking me so back that I can't really remember."
It's all good. So, like I said, we all was like family. So I was around them a lot. So ain't no telling.
And also, you did a song titled "The BQE" with the Lost Boys. I have to ask you, what was it like working with the Lost Boys? Because they're personally one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time.
Yeah. I mean, that was a dope record. Still is. The album is back out, by the way, through Cleopatra. We worked in the studio separately, though. I did my part one day. They did theirs. Cheeks did his the next. So basically, we just put the song together. But knowing them, they real dope people. Real cool.
And also, in 1998, you actually released your record, Tales from the Fort Knox. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration behind that phenomenal record? And of course, where can our listeners buy that today if it's actually available on the internet to be purchased?
Well, it's available everywhere today. Actually, that album never got released back then. Mad Sounds, they released some of the songs, which was underneath the Universal label, back in the day. But the album was really hard to find now. It's streaming everywhere. Everywhere. And I'm about to do another deal where we're going to press up some vinyls and some CDs, limited editions.
That's actually really cool. You gotta love the internet because they give you such a wide range of audience findings. You know what I mean? Back then it was so hard to actually release something and get it to the public, and now it's one click of a button, the whole world has it at their fingertips.
And I'm going to tell you a story. A friend of mine, I gave him some music about 25 years ago for a mixtape. And he gave me the tape 2 days ago. So since the studios don't have the equipment to dump these files into MP3, I'm going to ordered one. It's coming Saturday, so I have the tape right here. And it look about 30 years old, I'm sure on camera. But I got some fire up here, and they want some unreleased songs, too. So, yeah, I still have work to do with this album. That album, that's a pretty good album. It takes you from hip-hop to R&B to even pop,
And I have to ask you as well, because I noticed, pertaining to the cassette converter, would you be doing stuff like that for the general public as well? And if so, how can they get a hold of you to actually purchase some of your time so they can actually get their old tapes converted to MP3s?
Well, they can go to my Facebook page, Paula Perry 101, my Instagram. Hit me up, message. Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely available to the public for that. Please, I got my sewing machine working. I got my press working. I got my press machine. I'm here for the public.
And you were also featured as well on DJ Master C's Get a Grip, Motherfuckers. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with DJ Master C, and what was it like working on Get a Grip?
Let me see. Because I remember that one. Yeah. I think Mr. C put that one together for us. Yep. I met him through Mr. C. Mr. C, he had a lot to do with that album, and as well as other songs I was doing, you know, on the side. So I got to give Mr. C his credit as well.
And I gotta say as well, Paula, during that song, you actually go hard in the paint in that track. I gotta say, you were, I love your lyrical flow within that track.
Thank you. Thank you. I was listening to the album today, and I'm like, oh, wow. The song, Let Me Explain Something, spitting non-stop. Master H produced that track. That shit is bananas.
And I have to ask you pertaining to Masta Ace, because like obviously you spent a lot of time with that individual. I have to ask you, what was one of the most memorable moments that you actually shared with legendary Masta Ace?
Being on tour with them, being on stage, being in the big coliseums and arenas and stuff, and just experiencing that life. You know, I was straight out the projects. You know, so yeah, just being on tour and getting to experience everything.
And you also received an award for years of outstanding achievement for the hip hop, titled the Hip Hop Culture Award. I have to ask you, how does it feel to receive that recognition? And is that one of the only awards that you won? If you won any more, could you let our listeners know which other ones that you have won?
No, I haven't won any more.
I'm going to be honest, though. You should have, though. You really should have a gang of awards because you are a very talented individual.
Thank you, thank you. Well, you know what? Sometimes when you're too talented, people want to shut you up. Even after the fact, I started shooting videos out in Brooklyn and stuff from 2008 to 2012. Well, 2007, 2012. And it's like I did like over 100 videos by myself, me and my son, in a year. And me having that access to people and to places and having a voice in this hip-hop, I feel it made certain individuals upset. So circumstances happened to where I left New York in 2012, and a lot of things in which where I was bringing people together and we was enjoying this hip-hop, you know. Now it's like things is all over the place. Watching Love and Hip-Hop, it's like, okay, they said I was wild and crazy and gangster, but you look at this and they throwing glass at each other. They busting each other's lips and blacking each other's eyes on national television. And I believe it's not fair, you know, because if I'm just accepting that lyrically, not physically, leave me alone. Or even just voicing my opinion. So sometimes when you have too much power, a lot of people want to hush you up, especially in this industry.
And I've noticed that as well, especially within hip-hop, you know, like even back in the 90s with C. Dolores Tucker, and like we're really trying to censor all the music. Like a lot, I really despise the fact that, you know, not a lot of individuals really like when the people within the hip-hop community really do have a voice.
Right. And that's right. And it's just a shame now that a lot of young individuals are getting killed for being hip-hop artists, you know, for having money, for being successful, you know, to being either killed or robbed, you know, it's crazy.
And also, in October 2018, you actually released the video for your song "Shut the Fuck Up." I have to ask you, where can our listeners actually check out that music video?
Well, they think it's hard, you know, and I was, you know, basically talking about certain individuals in that song. I was pretty angry, but you know, I'm over it now. So now it's like a new era of music. Now it's like a new style. So basically, you know, I'm coming with them type beats, but I'm talking against what everybody else is talking about. Like if they talking about flashing their money, I'm talking about taking their money, you know, stuff like that.
And to be honest with you, though, like, everybody has their angry periods, you know what I mean? I believe, like, everybody in their music career probably made a song when they were really angry, so...
Oh, yeah. my hardest joints was when I was really angry. Just spitting nonstop.
And I have to say though, like you're probably one of the most hardest East Coast MCs. I'm gonna be completely honest with you on that one. I really enjoy even your angry music, and also when you're not angry. I really do enjoy your lyrical flow. And I meant what I said as well, Paula. You really do deserve much more recognition than what you actually got.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I also noticed
one day I'll get it.
And I also noticed on Facebook as well that you actually have a new, I believe, I saw some visuals. I think it's a new single coming out featuring Yazzie called Fool Gaze. I have to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about that project, and what can we expect from that when it does drop to the general public?
Well, basically, that song is called Fool Gaze, and it's just about all the foolery that's going on in the industry now. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm talking against what everybody else is talking about. You know, Yazzie, she's a very talented young girl, and yeah, check her out too. She's on Instagram under Yazzie, and yeah, that project, it was just fun. You know, having a lot of fun in the studio, just bringing me back to my essence, and yeah, I may be almost twice people's age, but you know, I still look good, too.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You can rap better than 90% of these new artists. I don't even know what these new artists are even saying. I don't know. It's like the three same words over and over again with an in the middle. I don't get it. So at the end of the day, you're hip hop. These new artists, I don't know what they are.
Well, thank you. Well, there's space for everybody in hip hop. You know what I mean? So you can't please everybody, and you know, people like different genres of music. You know, whether they can understand it or not, as long as they can dance to it, I guess, twerk or whatever they do.
And I have to ask you as well, Paula, what's next for you? Is there anything I happen to miss? Anything else you still want to promote? We still have you here live on Outlaw Radio FM.
Yeah, definitely promote that Fugazi. I'm gonna be dropping that real soon. I'm gonna be coming out with limited editions of supporting our wax and CDs. We need to bring back the tape cassettes because I think they last longer than anything.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely promote whatnot. And Paula Perry will be back.
And I gotta say, Paula, so this is the time in the interview quickly, right before I wrap things up, that I give a chance for the individual that comes on the radio station, just a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, and of course your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything you're doing if they're not already doing so.
All right. You can follow me on Facebook, Paula Perry 101, Instagram, Paula Perry 101, Twitter, Paula Perry 101. And then basically, if you Google Paula Perry, tell support Knox to come on, you know, you'll see it on every platform, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, you know, everywhere, pretty much.
And I gotta say, Paula, thank you so much again for years upon years of amazing music, and also for taking the time out of your busy evening to come on my radio station. It was an absolute honor, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and it was an honor as well. Okay?
Thank you so much, Paula. You have yourself a wonderful night.
Now, you have a wonderful night, too. God bless and be safe.
You as well. Thank you.